And for you, Mama Ida, when he was in detention especially, talk to us about what that was like for you as a woman, as a mother, as a wife. Your husband is away. I can only imagine the torturous time it would have been.
Of course, that time when he was in detention, you got to remember that I was a young woman. I was in my early 30s. I had 3 children, Fidel, Rosemary, and Junior. And I was a teacher at Kenya High School. And that was what life was. Now, as a young woman, the young family, young children, of course, my concentration was on my children, how they should come up and so forth. So when he suddenly went away into detention, life became very extremely difficult for me, because I had to look after these 3 children. I had to keep my job, and I had to survive. And of course, I had to live on my income, my income as a teacher. So we had to cut down on certain things that we could not afford.
Did the kids understand what was happening?
Well, Fidel did, because Fidel was about 9 years old. Rosemary was 5. Junior did not understand a thing because he was 3 years old. And somehow they didn't understand, but they thought constantly. I think Fidel used to tell them, let's try to be nice to mom.
Let's not give her a hard time.
But that is not all. The problem was not really coming from my children. The problems were coming from the system. Because I was always being watched and being followed. For example, in the morning when I wake up, the first thing I used to do is to prepare the children and then drive them to school. I would have the car towing me to school. Then after that, I go to my work, to school where I was working. In the evening, when I go back again for them, it will be the same. So these people were always parked at my gate, watching over me, and it became, in the end, we just thought it's a way of life. I can tell you one time, when we moved into a new house, and we had this person sitting right at the veranda of the house. And I asked him, what are you doing here? He said, he wasn't talking. I said, what are you doing at my door? There was no answer. Eventually, I asked him, who sent you here? Then he said, Mkubwa. I didn't know who Mkubwa was. Who is Mkubwa? There was no answer. So I was very annoyed, but we just slept, and this went on and on for months when we were in that house. Eventually we said, this is an extra watchman. We don't need to be annoyed. And in the evening when we are going to bed, we'd give him black coffee and say,
what?
Have a good night.
So you found a way to just cope?
Yeah, just find a way to cope with it. So we were there, so as long as we were in that house, he was always there at the veranda.
And was there any communication? Was there?
Yes, there was. Once in 6 months, they would allow the visit. He would be brought from wherever he was, which varied from place to place, and would meet with him. Most of the time we used to meet either at the traffic headquarters, then I think this now, or traffic headquarters, or at Wilson Airport, the police wing, that place, the police wing at Wilson Airport, or the traffic headquarters, which is now I think Nairobi provincial headquarters.